You ever seen a judge slam his gavel, smug as hell, sentencing an innocent black woman to decades for a crime she didn't commit, only to find out she's an undercover FBI agent who's been hunting him for years? That's what happened when a corrupt judge in a sweltering southern courtroom thought he'd crushed a nobody, clueless that she was building a case to burn his whole empire down. By the time the truth hit, he was done. But the cost left me wondering if justice ever comes clean, or if it's always this bloody and broken. My name's Marcus Tate, and this is the story of how a scorching day in Macon, Georgia, turned into a war that took down a kingpin judge, shattered a family, and changed how I see the fight for what's right. I was in that Macon courtroom, just a blogger jotting notes for a local site, when Judge Harlan Vance dropped his gavel, sentencing 32-year-old Aisha Coleman to 20 years for stealing a purse she never touched. The room was stifling, fans barely cutting the Georgia heat, and Vance, a silver-haired man with a jaw like granite, smirked as Aisha's mom let out a wail that sliced through the silence. Aisha stood there, orange jumpsuit itching, her face calm but her eyes sharp, like she was carving Vance's smug grin into her memory. Nobody knew she was an FBI agent, 2 years deep undercover, planting bugs and fake bribe receipts to nail Vance for rigging trials and pocketing kickbacks from private prisons. That smirk of his, it wasn't just arrogance, it was power, the kind that thrived on breaking folks like Aisha, black folks especially, to keep jail cells full and his bank account fatter. She flashed a faint, chilling smile as deputies cuffed her. A spark that said this wasn't her end, but his beginning. I scribbled faster, something about that look sticking with me, like she knew a storm was coming and Vance was about to get soaked. The gallery whispered, "She's done." But Aisha wasn't. They just lit a fuse, and Macon was about to feel the blast. Aisha wasn't some random target. She'd been chasing Vance since her first FBI gig, a Chicago sting that taught her how dirty judges hide behind gavels. For 2 years, she'd played paralegal, delivery driver, janitor, slipping cameras into Vance's chambers, mics in his golf bags, building a case that'd bury him. Her handler, Agent Nate Carter, a grizzled ex-Marine with a scar across his cheek, had her back, promising extraction once Vance framed her. It was the plan: take the hit, let the feds raid with warrants blazing. But in that holding cell under the courthouse, the air thick with bleach and sweat, hours ticked by with no sign of Nate. Aisha paced, her sneakers squeaking on cracked concrete, her gut twisting. Something was off, like static before a lightning strike. Across town, Vance sipped bourbon in his oak-paneled office, skimming Aisha's fake file, his wire-rimmed glasses low. He'd made the purse theft a 20-year sentence because she didn't flinch, because her eyes met his without fear, because he could. But that smile of hers nagged him, a splinter he couldn't pull. He buzzed his bailiff, Victor Kane, a 6 feet 4 inches ex-cop with a buzz cut and hands that loved breaking things. Dig into this Coleman woman, too calm for a nobody. Kane nodded, his blue eyes narrowing, already sniffing for dirt. Aisha, locked in that cell, tapped her knee, counting minutes, trusting Nate to move fast. But when a skinny guard with a patchy beard shoved her toward a van, sneering, "You're moving?" her pulse spiked. This wasn't the plan. The van rumbled to Macon County Jail, and as she sat cuffed, exhaust choking the air, she knew Vance was playing a deeper game. Things got uglier fast. Vance's claws reached into the jail, where a guard planted a baggie of powder in her cot, smirking, "Looks like we got a dealer." Aisha's blood ran cold. That's not mine. But new charges hit. Possession with intent, life looming like a guillotine. She clenched her fists, nails biting her palms. Vance wasn't just framing her. He was burying her. Kane, digging through her cover, found a glitchy driver's license tied to a dead woman. His gut screaming federal, he called Vance. "She's a plant. ID's government grade." Vance's bourbon froze mid-sip, his mind flashing to whispers of feds sniffing his deals. He slammed the glass down, ordering the jail warden, "Triple her bail. No calls, no visitors, lock her down." Aisha felt the walls closing in, her cell now a 6x4 box, mold creeping up the concrete. She'd expected Nate's raid by now, but the silence was deafening. In the yard, 3 inmates cornered her. a wiry woman with a scarred eyebrow hissing, "Snitch!" her shiv flashing. Aisha ducked, slamming an elbow into Scar's nose, blood spraying, kicking another's knee. But guards dragged her to solitary, batons raised. Troublemaker. Her arm bled, stitches fresh from the infirmary. Where a TV blared Vance on the news, crocodile tears glistening. Aisha Coleman's a kingpin, violent, dangerous. My jaw dropped, watching at home. That was no purse thief. Vance was spinning a lie to turn the city against her. Aisha, staring at that screen, felt rage ignite. She'd survived the shiv, kept her cover, but Vance was rewriting her into a monster. She fought back, slipping a coded note through a nervous guard. C planting, D, move fast, T. A cipher she and Nate had used since Chicago. It reached Nate, who was tearing his hair out in an FBI safe house. Warrants stalled by a judge in Vance's pocket. He kicked in Vance's office door at 3 a.m., seizing ledgers Aisha had planted, tapes of Vance promising leniency for cash. But his teammate, Sarah Wells, a sharp agent he'd trusted, was feeding Vance intel, tipping him off about the raid. Aisha, in solitary, didn't know Nate had her back, but she kept moving, whispering to a nurse, "Get this to Agent Nate Carter." Ledger under his desk blotter. "Leak it." The nurse, a weary woman with gray braids, slipped the note out, and Nate leaked it online, Vance's handwriting. Payoffs to prison CEOs, cops going viral. Macon exploded, protests choking downtown, hashtag Free Aisha trending as thousands rallied. Vance, pacing his office, bourbon trembling, snarled at Kane. "She's still fighting. From jail." He hired the Dixie Reapers, a racist gang led by Eli Voss, to torch Aisha's Southside hideout, a tent city where she'd fled after escaping a jail riot Vance staged. Flames devoured the camp, killing old Joe, a homeless vet who'd sheltered her. His scream haunting Aisha as she dove into a storm drain, shrapnel tearing her calf. She hacked Vance's emails from a burner, leaking threats to judges, sparking bigger protests. But he countered with a bomb at her FBI safe house, a sniper's bullet grazing her skull, framing her for killing a cop. Aisha, bleeding in a ditch, thought she'd lost, but sent a drone feed of the chaos to news outlets. "Carver bombed us. Live now," turning his martial law into his confession. The final showdown was raw. Vance, out on bail, kidnapped Aisha's sister, Nia, a nurse with steady hands, holding her in a warehouse, streaming live, "Surrender or she's meat." Aisha walked in, hands up, "Let her go." But Vance's voice crackled, "Shoot the sister. Lock her up." Kane shot Nia's leg, blood spraying, and Aisha lunged, only to be beaten down, locked in a flooding basement. She smashed the hatch with a pipe, cauterizing Nia's wound with a torch, and Nate's team stormed in, cuffing Kane. Aisha faced Vance at her mom's house, his gun raised. "Trash like you never wins." She smiled, her hidden mic streaming, "Say it louder," for the world. Choppers roared, feds swarming, and Vance's confession, his hate, his bribes, went viral. Jurors convicted him life without parole, his gavel silenced. But Nia, broken by torture, grabbed a Reaper's gun, whispering, "No more," and shot Vance dead on the courthouse steps, blood pooling as she dropped the pistol. Cuffed, her cry fading. Aisha caught her, heart shattering, "I'll fix this." But the rain washed Vance's blood away, justice bitter as ash. Macon roared, protest swelling, Aisha a hero, but Nia's chains were the cost. I watched from the crowd, notebooks soaked, knowing Aisha had won. Vance's empire dust, her mom safe, but at what price? She'd exposed him, survived hell, but Nia's shot blurred right and wrong. Was this justice or just vengeance in disguise? Aisha's free, but can she save Nia from prison? The system's cracked, but will it heal or just spit out another Vance? A kid left a sign in the rubble. Aisha fought. Don't stop. That's the win, right? But is it enough? Or is another trap waiting? What do you think? Was Nia's shot justice or too far? Can Aisha fix this? Or is the system too broken? Ever seen someone fight like her and lose so much? Drop a comment. Tell me where you're watching, share your stories. Like, subscribe, and let's keep the truth burning, so you don't have to.